Hello and welcome. Today is August 18th, 2023, and my name is Michelle Ricci, and you are on Fierce Friday, the Million Mom Movement. And I've been with the Million Mom Movement for about 10 months now, and it is my absolute pleasure to be in accountability with so many change makers on this planet. And we're really all the council, right? We're all part of this movement. And it really cracks my heart wide open to be able to interview and get to know all of you in the field and what is important to you on this mission alongside us. So today I am joined by my fellow council members and co-hosts, Naiva Flore and Carmela Velarde, and Taz is still out living her best life with her daughter in Europe. So we're going to hold down the fort here, and we brought on a very special guest. Camille Ferguson will be joining us today. So cultivating healthy sleep habits, sleep hormones and hygiene unveiled. We're really talking about the apothecary, and there's so much more to talk about. So we're hoping that this is going to be a spectacular call for you and something that you can share far and wide. You know, I wanted to share a statistic with you about a 10-year study that was completed by the National Poison Data System. And during this 10-year period, 2011 to 2021, 260,435 pediatric melatonin ingestion poisonings were reported to the NPDS. So over those 10 years, the number of annual calls to the Poison Control Center for Pediatric Melatonin Overdoses has risen by 530%. That breaks my heart. I want to take a breath here. Can we all collectively take a breath? There are all these children that are being diagnosed with ADHD and going through sleepless nights, and mothers at their wits' end, and they're just reaching for anything, and they're being marketed to. And that's what we're doing here at the Million Mom Movement. We're raising awareness and highlighting these staggering statistics because we have solutions here. We have solutions here, and we want to empower you with those solutions. So we're going to be talking all about the tart cherry. I want to tell you the rest of this is that by 2020, the Poison Control Center was receiving more calls about pediatric overdoses of melatonin than any other substance. This is not like over the substances that kids are accidentally getting into on their own. This is something that parents may inadvertently be giving their children and not even realizing. So anyways, this week, we're delving into the fascinating realm of sleep, into these bigger topics. We're going to explore the intricate dance between sleep hormones and combating free radical damage, inflammation in your body. You're going to hear from our guests, your nervous system, and the body's ability to create melatonin for proper sleep hygiene. So we're going to start first with Carmela. I'd love to invite you up and share our In the News piece and get us started.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and everyone for being here. I love you all for being here. And sleep hygiene is so important. The article that Michelle was citing is from the Cleveland Clinic. So I put it into the chat. It's a really important In the News piece because there are so many families who are using these melatonin gummies. And, you know, when I was looking and researching at like the top melatonin gummies, where is it? Here it is. And what are the ingredients in them? You know, so the best overall is this NutriCost melatonin 10 milligram gummy, and this fastest acting nature made melatonin. I was looking at the ingredients, right? And the other ingredients besides the melatonin, which is 10 milligrams, is glucose syrup, sugar, water, gelatin, citric acid, pectin, malic acid, natural flavors. So we're looking at that. And then we're looking at different, again, it's these gummies. The first ingredient is glucose. So we just want to, you know, really allow people to see what's happening here is convenience is king, right? convenience is what's driving people to these other alternative solutions that are not natural. So let's talk a little bit about the apothecary. I have it right here. It's my best friend for sleep. And I'm a mom whose kid just started school yesterday, so I'm readjusting to this early pattern and stress in the morning, right? So I'm going to do a little shot with you. And this is what I get to do. Even in the daytime, there are benefits to this tart cherry that aren't just for sleep, but it's for cellular rejuvenation. I do a shot, but then I put this aloe vera 40 times. And that's also very beneficial for, I just do a squirt and do a shot. And this is, I took my tart cherry apothecary last night, 2 ounces of it, but in the day, I still need extra support. And that's the circadian clock being reset to support that. You can totally take it during the day. So let's look at this article. I put it into the chat. Did I put it into the chat? I think I did. Yes, it's the sleep benefits of tart cherry. So specifically, and I wanted to highlight this article because it's for the Montmorency tart cherry and this Montmorency tart cherry. And many people who are, who know family and friends who give their children or they take melatonin gummies or external melatonin, send them this article. Let them know that there's a more natural option and these are the benefits. So it's demonstrated to provide a variety of health benefits. Goodness. Because I've been consuming this religiously daily for over 9 years, almost 10 years. So 1/3 of Americans report not sleeping enough each night. Tart cherry juice's positive effect on sleep is likely due to tryptophan as well as melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep hormone that's secreted at certain times of the day to help the body to transition to sleep. Tryptophan helps the body produce melatonin. Therefore, it's essential to a good night's sleep. So every 100 grams of tart cherries contains 9 milligrams of tryptophan. And each day, people require about 250 to 425 milligrams of tryptophan. So consider this as a very sleep-supporting food because this has a high dose now. Our superfood concentrate in 2 ounces. This is multiplied. Of course, superfoods have more nutrient-dense benefits than just tart cherries alone. So how much should you drink? So our recommended dose is 2 ounces. And to me, I just take a little shot glass and take it with you. And it is dense. One other article I wanted to share with you where there was a pilot study specifically on tart cherry juice. And insomnia specifically is common in the elderly and is associated with chronic disease. But the use of hypnotics increases the incidence of falls. Montmorency tart cherry juice has improved insomnia by a self-report questionnaire. So this was a good study to back up our specific concentrate. The results here, 11 subjects were randomized. 3 were with sleep apnea. 8 of the completers with insomnia increased sleep by 84 minutes on the polysomnograph, and sleep efficiency increased on the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index. So this is another really great article. It's always good for people to see science, like, yes, it's natural. Unfortunately, with the melatonin gummies, many people are overdosing, like Michelle had said. And it's because they don't know exactly how much they're to be consuming. And they like you saw the ingredients, the first ingredient is glucose. So it's very easy to overconsume, but we can't play with these things. And the parents have to be watching the cabinet because they'll look at it as candy, as many children would. And so one other thing I wanted to share, let me see. So I come from a Chinese medicine background, and I was also looking at the analysis of sleep quality as it relates to TCM constitution. So what types of constitutions are typically sleep deprived? And so the results, the top 4 biased constitutions of the insomnia population consists of qi deficiency constitution. That's 95 of the cases. That's the majority of the cases. So what is qi? Qi. So when you look at what qi deficiency is, and I love people just to understand that on a different level, because Chinese medicine has existed thousands and thousands of years, over 3,000 years. So to look back at really like what is the picture of health that we're looking at with sleep. And qi is the vital energy force, and it includes the physical body and the feelings the person has. So if there's a qi deficiency, it could also be caused with the energy that flows to the body, including blood, qi, energy. So there's a major qi deficiency that exists in most people with sleep deficiencies. And that's usually because you're not absorbing your nutrition. You're not able to. The absorption rate is poor. This is why we are going to definitely go into gut health as it relates to sleep deprivation, because if you're qi deficient, then you are not absorbing and you're not getting enough of what you need daily. So if you're one of those people out there listening who are chronically not getting enough in the morning and need more energy, you feel depleted, it's definitely something with the gut health. And the second is yang deficiency constitution, blood stasis, and qi stagnation. So I'm going to put that into the chat. Just wanted to share that with you guys. And I'm going to pass it back to Michelle. Thank you.
Great articles, Carmela. I love the way that you share and how deep you go and the corners that you look in that maybe are not brought to our attention when we're thinking about some of these things. Energetically, your qi is directly related to your organs and your life force. And that's where your life force is. If your blood's not flowing, if your lymph is congested, if you're not digesting, you're not absorbing and assimilating. And if you're eating late at night and staying up, then you're not sleeping, you're digesting. So really, everything is connected. This is a holistic approach, and then making sure that the tools that we're using are the highest quality so that our cells can recognize it in the most usable form. And then we get out of our own way by developing better sleep hygiene. So I want to give you a couple of tips here, and then I'm going to ask Naiva to come on and just talk a little bit more about tart cherries and how they're so heavily sprayed. But sleep hygiene, some things that you can do at night. Remove the TV from the bedroom. You can cover the mirror and close the blinds so that energetically when you're sleeping, you're not noticing trees moving outside and your nervous system can stay calm. Plug your phone in a different room. And if you absolutely can't, then put it on airplane mode so that your phone is not plugged in, using energy and taking in energy next to your head and also acting like a modem. Okay? Stop using the phone earlier at night. Practice things like sitting on the front porch, having a cup of tea, having your tart cherry in a wine glass with a little bit of aloe and some ionic elements, and pretending you're sipping on your nightcap wine, and have a mocktail. Maybe take a bath and soak in some Epsom salts, or read a page of a book until you get drowsy. These are all things that can help you settle your nervous system so that when you go to sleep, your body can actually do the work it's meant to do at that time, which is regenerate and rehabilitate. Okay, so Naiva, would you like to go a little further into tart cherries and maybe touch on the toxicity when we're not buying organic tart cherries?
Absolutely. This is such a huge topic, and I wanted to share a little story before I share more about cherries and tart cherries in general, is that once I was up in British Columbia harvesting cherries with my brother. And when I was doing this, I didn't realize at the time I was a teenager. We were on a summer work trip together, and we happened to be in this cherry field. And I thought it was wonderful that we could eat all the cherries that we wanted and we could harvest cherries for weeks on end. But what I didn't realize was at the end of the day, my hands were black. Why were they black? Because they were covered in chemicals. And the worst part is that we had to use that mechanic soap, the orange soap with the sand granules in it, to scrub our hands. And even after using that, our hands were still dirty. And so after working for 2 weeks, our hands were pretty much stained with this chemical, which was probably absorbing through our skin. And it was something that I didn't know better at the time, but now looking back, I can see how horrible that was for our own personal health. But to take it a step further, it made me think, like, you don't scrub your cherries with orange pumice soap, right? You couldn't. The skin would fall off and you'd end up with, mashed up cherries. And so just think about that anytime you're purchasing cherries. It is very important that they are organic and not sprayed with chemicals, because whatever they're spraying them with turns into like a black tar on your skin when you're harvesting it for hours. So just to think, like, what would that do inside of your body? And so ever since that time, I have never bought non-organic cherries. It pretty much traumatized me, but it was a good learning lesson for me at a young age to show me that all of our fruit has these chemicals sprayed on them, and how if I can't wash it off my hands, I probably can't wash it off of the fruit. And then what is that doing in my body? So tart cherries are really incredible though, because they have super high levels of antioxidants, which is anti-inflammatory. The compounds of polyphenols and carotenoids, and also contains vitamin C, potassium, and magnesium. And they're super rich in polyphenolic compounds, especially proanthocyanins. I always have a hard time with those longer words. And anthocyanins and flavonoids as well, or flavonols as well, all of which are strong antioxidants. So antioxidants are really incredible for your body because they help you get rid of free radicals in your body, which we know that tart cherry has the highest antioxidant fruit on the planet. So really great for boosting our immune system. And then tart cherries also contain a wide variety of vitamins and minerals, including significant percentage of our recommended daily intake of vitamin A and C. And so this is really important for our sleep hygiene, because we want to be getting all of those vitamins and minerals and antioxidants to help us get that natural melatonin. So the great thing about tart cherries is that they don't make melatonin. It helps your body's natural ability to create melatonin. And so this is an organic super fruit, and it contains the wide variety of not only antioxidants, but phytochemicals to help balance our circadian rhythms and support healthy joint function as well, and promote healthy uric acid in our metabolism. So it can really help deepen sleep. It combats free radicals. It really helps to beautify the skin. So also anti-aging, and it can really create the healthy response that we're looking for in inflammation and all of our inflammatory symptoms. And we know that inflammation is the precursor to so many other issues with our health. So tart cherries are incredible, and I definitely recommend taking this every day. And for my children, for my family, I give it to my son after sports. He is often inflamed from playing football and from running and putting out so much energy. And so he needs that anti-inflammation to help put his muscles at ease and help him get that deep, restful sleep. And so I love using it for my son who's in football to just help his body to recover from sports. So pass it back to you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Naiva. Incredible shares, ladies. And get this, there's more. No one has ever overdosed from eating a big bowl of tart cherries. These are things that can go in the lunch pack and assist them with their mood and regulating during the day at school. Why put kids on ADHD medication when we can look to their diets and their lifestyle and what we're doing in the household? So I'm preaching to the choir. I know that I am. Carmela, would you share the story of a testimonial you have in your family with the tart cherry? I think it'll be a beautiful way to introduce Camille. Was it your father or your father-in-law? And now we're moving beyond sleep, everyone, okay? So, I mean, there is so much more to these cherries and the benefits of our apothecary in particular. Carmela.
Oh, thank you, Michelle and Naiva. Yeah, so I have my mom here visiting, so I'm glad that she's listening in to this information, because it's so important for the elders. You know, my father had suffered from gout for many years. And I know we're talking about sleep, but it's chronic. It's a chronic condition, just as I shared earlier with the article, a study saying about the elders, the chronic conditions are greatly affected and impacted. So with my father, he was very, very resistant. He was probably one of my most resistant clients for coaching. He did not want to take it, but all the foods that caused the gout, the uric acid accumulation, was exactly what he loved. It was his favorites, the whole list of it. Every single one were his favorites, and he would include it in somehow a dish. And so I noticed that, I was living in New York City with my children, and he was in Pennsylvania, and he would not be able to climb the stairs to go eat because he wouldn't be able to step up the stairs because every step felt like shards of glass were digging into his feet. And so he starved, sometimes for days. And I realized that this gout is not just, it's so insidious in that it, just like glyphosate, it really wreaks havoc on your body. And the addictions of the acidic foods that are creating it are what it craves more. The acid craves acid. And so I moved to Pennsylvania for this reason, to be 100% honest. That's really why I did, because I couldn't see somebody who was so intelligent, he was a nuclear engineer, not take steps to better his own health regimen so that he can live a more vibrant life. And for me, I was like, I want to take a stand and just be present. And I was a very rebellious kid. I was not the easiest. It was not the easiest coaching relationship, I tell you that. But it took him a while, and he did it. He did a ULT. When he did this ULT, he did it quietly without me. He did it without telling me, but he got to rock bottom. He realized that me being there, my support, my attention there, my husband, my kids were there, present. Like, what can we do? Would you like to have dinner with us? We just want to be there, hoping to take a stand for the family. And little by little, the gout was gone. And 30 pounds weight loss, no gout symptoms ever came back. He has this gut dysbiosis, that constitution that I have. So I totally understand. I totally knew this was my healing path for him. But it was the apothecary. It was reducing the acid, reducing the inflammatory foods that he was craving. It's just too hard for people to do it on their own. They need the support of a ULT. They need a 90-day path in order to break that relationship of the acid with the acid, because that's how bad it was. He was starving himself and was in such pain. And they attribute gout pain with natural childbirth. That's how painful it is. Like, it's so excruciating, the pain threshold. And I love how Michelle Ricci is talking about apothecary as a nerve tonic, because he was so much more calm. He was such a calmer being after this process. I watched this huge transformation happen with him. And the gout, absolutely. But whenever you're chronically inflamed, you don't sleep, or you sleep too much. In his case, he slept all day. Like, I was living there and I witnessed this firsthand. I said, this is no quality of life. I don't want that for my family member. If my son saw me living like that, I hope that he would take my hand and guide me, because that's just what we do for people we love. And yeah, I wanted to share that story.
Thank you so much, Carmela. Yeah. And, drop some love in the comments for Carmela if you can relate to that. Well, even if you can't, but I'm sure you can, right? So I really use the apothecary all day long. If I stub my toe, I take a few aminos, some apothecary, maybe a super xanthan. I love mixing it with the aloe digest and the ionic elements. So similar to Carmela, that combination of the aloe and the cherry, it's just nice and it feels good. If I have a hard conversation or a stressful day, it takes the edge off. And it really can be used for so many things. So we're not doctors, we're not prescribing, we're not saying that. You are guaranteed to look, perform, and sleep and feel better by using a combination of these things over a period of time and taking the acidosis, removing mucoid plaque and toxic lymphatic waste out of your body. That's how you do it. You bring yourself to an alkaline state by changing the environment. So it is sleep. Sleep, like Carmela was saying, is connected to everything, right? We want you to be regenerating while you're sleeping. So when we get sleep, it's anti-aging, right? Gout, pain, digestion. It's good for liver and kidney support. I call it a brain tonic. It's a nerve tonic, right? And so I want to bring on Camille. Camille is a regenerative health practitioner and a clinical iris analysis and holistic business mentor. Hi, Camille, and welcome. Are you able to unmute? Great.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Michelle. This is such a great call.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here. So Camille, you didn't always start as a regenerative health professional. Much like Carmela was talking about her father, you really just started to ease into this lifestyle until it became a point where you really needed to, and you had a very traumatic event. So you want to just paint us a picture of where you're coming from and how you got here?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today, and I love sharing my story. My hope is that it will help to inspire someone else. Maybe my story can be used, in the field with someone else dealing with something similar to what I experienced. So I had been watching a good friend of mine, Mary Beth, for a while on social media, and I was suffering in silence while I had been watching her. And it was during my third pregnancy where we found out some information about our unborn baby. And that information settled in as trauma in my body. And at the time I was working in the restaurant industry, high service restaurant, or high end, like fast moving restaurant. And one night I just felt my back go out at work. And this put me into a place of severe chronic pain. At the time I was in high risk care for my pregnancy. So there wasn't a whole lot I could really do to manage that pain outside of my doctor's recommendations. And so I did resort to massage, which was very helpful. But after our son was born and I had left work, like that just wasn't really sustainable anymore. So I started self-medicating with ibuprofen, and I was taking about 2,000 milligrams a day. And I knew that that was not what I wanted to be doing for my health. I've always been very holistically minded. And I kind of thought, well, that maybe this is better than the other options of like surgery or spinal injections or something like that. And it was when Mary Beth then, was really just trying to support me and saying, this is something I think could really help you. And I just kind of watched for a while. I guess I didn't feel worthy of my own self of saying yes to adding in something and asking my husband for money to buy it and all that. I mean, we all go through our things with that, but it was when I had, really just laid out a big prayer because I couldn't deal with the chronic pain anymore. And it was about 4 years on and off where I was self-medicating. And when I decided to get this nutrition and bring it into my body, I noticed within 2 days that I didn't need to take the ibuprofen. I literally forgot to take it because I didn't have the pain. And I reached out to Mary and I said, what's the deal? And she said, yeah, that, the apothecary for one, really helps to support inflammation in the body and bring that inflammation down. It helps to bring down inflammation in the kidneys. And I had been dealing with low back pain and pain throughout my lower extremities. And yeah, it's just been, it's literally has kept me out of pain for over 3 years.
Oh, Camille, congratulations. It's incredible. And it is the lifestyle. Once you get that little taste of the liquid sunshine, you begin to understand what is happening in the body. And really, it's almost like you can start hearing yourself again, or for the first time, the messages that the body is trying to tell you, right? when we have a headache, usually when we have a symptom, it's a deficiency in something or a diagnosis right? But when we have a headache, we're not deficient in aspirin. I've definitely said this before, right? So we're deficient in something. We're deficient in sleep. We're deficient in hydration. So once and you and I have known each other for about 3.5 years. I came in the same time as you did, and we've had the good fortune to have mentorship both for health and business of Mary Beth and Rita Fleming. But you and I have had profound transformations with our health, and it's just been such an amazing transformation to watch you, and now to see you graduated and serving others in this, and you're just radiant and shine. And I know it's because you made a commitment all those years ago that this was going to be part of your life multiple times a day, and that these components, these different components, of course, the tart cherry is one of your non-negotiables, but you've really been leaning into the lifestyle well beyond the first 90 days with these non-negotiables. And you told us a little bit about the tart cherry, and do you want to talk about it a little more, like, as you said, the first 3 days, so now it's 3.5 years later, and what about using it with your family?
Yeah, I mean, it is, but I usually order at least 4 bottles a month because I do, like most of us, I'll drink it throughout the day. I drink it in the morning with a little bit of Can't Beat This, which is a nice little pick me up. It's so delicious. I give it to my son as well. He's 5 and he loves it. We call it sleepy juice. And I mix it with a little bit of Aloe Digest for him and like half a capsule of Biomedic at night. And it just knocks him out. He asks for it. Another thing that I love doing is I love making little gummy bears, vegan gummy bears with the apothecary and some of the other superfoods as well. So I'll use a agar and a little gummy bear mold and make him little treats that way. So he enjoys it that way as well. So yeah, and it's a non-negotiable in our house. Like I said, I order a lot every month.
Yeah. I love that. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Camilla or Naiva, that we have a gummy recipe in the new recipe books. Has that made it in?
I believe there is a recipe for that or something similar. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's
awesome.
lots of just to, off of that idea, there's a ton of recipes that include apothecary, like salad dressings and different desserts and different things. So you can definitely have so much fun with apothecary and use it in so many different ways. So if you find it a little bit tart and hard to drink, or maybe the kids don't like it, there's so many other ways that you can make it. I really like this first one, the kid-friendly cherry sport drink. It's something similar to what I make for my son with the ginseng and the ionic elements with some lemonade and the tart cherry. It is so delicious. And then you can add a shot of that aloe in there as well and make it something really nourishing and delicious for everyone. So there's so many different ways that you can use it. Back to you, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Camille, the statistic, I want to talk to you for a minute about the statistic. Have you weigh in on the statistics with this increase in melatonin overdose of 530%? Your son is how old now?
Yeah, he's 5. And I remember when I have older kids too, and I used to give them melatonin because I didn't know. Like, I think that that's part of the problem. Like it is like, oh, this is natural. And I think that, moms are always trying to do the best for their children. And we want our kids to have good, restful sleep. And it helps us be better parents too. If we're not sleeping, then, how can we really be our best for everyone in our family? And yeah, it's frightening. I think that as, people of the Purium community and those that are here just learning about Purium for the first time, it's really important to use the resources that we have available to us with Purium to help to educate people about why they don't want to use a synthetic form of melatonin. And, you know, in regenerative health, we know that we teach that if you take it, your body won't make it. And melatonin is definitely one of those supplements that fits into that category. And what I see in my practice is I really do try to encourage people to use a natural remedy for whatever is ailing them. But what I find is that people are looking for quick, easy solutions and like a quick fix. And that's probably part of the reason why there's this epidemic too, is that, you know, it's like, the symptoms of the ADHD or, you know, just the crabby kids in general. It's like parents searching for something that's going to help their kid feel better. And that's really what it comes down to. It is that bottom line. We just want to help our children, but it's really about educating.
Absolutely. I agree. And you know what's so great? The bottles are like $20. So if you see a mom struggling or, you know, I mean, really just, it's an investment, right? This is a supply for your business, especially when you give it to others. I'm not saying that, like, go out and forever just give bottles of cherry away. However, it is a great conversation starter. It is a great gift. It is something, you know, when you care about somebody, you make a recommendation. And so, you know, feel free to order a couple of extra bottles, have them on hand, give it to your classroom teacher at your child's school instead of a thing of Clorox wipes. Like, hi, just a suggestion. And we actually have some people in the community that are working to create ways to be able to communicate with schools and PTAs and sports so that you can go in and start making these places that your kids go and normalize nutrition and make a Million Mom Movement approved places where you want to take your kids and the kids want to go, right? So, okay, where are we at? Camille, let's see, I wanted to ask you about how you're now using it with clients. You're a regenerative health professional. You're putting together these component systems and these kits for clients. And as you've demonstrated, it's not just for sleep. So how are you using it? Maybe even to give some people some ideas of, oh, I know a friend that has gout or things like this, where you would say that should be a non-negotiable on the order.
Yeah, I actually recommend it for people that are dealing with chronic pain because my own experience has been so profound. Currently, I have a client that's she's been diagnosed with abnormal cell growth. So I'm not going to use any words, but I think we all know what that is. And she's got a lot of pain in her back where that affected area is. And so she's taking it as a pain supplement. So instead of taking Tylenol or ibuprofen, she's taking like 10 tablespoons a day throughout the day. And not only is it helping with that, but it also helps kidney filtration. I'm going to close my door really quick. We have in Chicago, I live in Chicago, and we have fighter jets going on right now. We have an air
kidneys, adrenals, liver. Really, it is this tonic for the body. Agreed.
Yeah, and it helps to open up our kidneys, which are one of our main detox pathways. We've got our kidneys, our bowels, our skin, and our lungs. And most people do not have kidneys that are filtering lymphatic waste out. And that's so important. So this is just a really simple thing that they can do. Tastes delicious. It helps to reduce that inflammation and helps to open up that major elimination pathway to remove acidic waste from the body. So
Yeah, you bring up a great point with the detox pathways. And what I love about our kits and our component systems and the way that we are working is we are helping people stabilize before just going in and binding and detoxing and creating another stressor on the body without nourishing and stabilizing people so that the body feels safe to release the toxins. The difference here, and if you don't hear anything else on this call, is this: detoxes are a dime a dozen. And if you ask me as a detox specialist, they're dangerous, because if you mobilize toxins and start people on a detox and their detox pathways aren't open, that's why people have such adverse reactions and say, oh, I can't detox and I can't do these things. It's not true. The body is meant to do these processes. But if the door's not open and you start trying to remove things from the body, and it's not going to work, and it's going to exacerbate the symptoms that are present and cause secondary histamine reactions and inflammatory responses through all 11 systems of the body. It is a multi-system, multi-symptom impairment. It's inflammation. There's maybe 3 diseases or 4 or 5, under a handful of diseases that you can actually be born with. The rest come from these pathogens and this lifestyle and the things that are invading us on a daily basis. So I digress, but thank you for bringing that up, Camille. The most important thing and what we're trying to do is get these in your body, flood your body with nutrition so that it's starting to absorb and assimilate and remember what the processes are. Then it will feel safe to release these pathogens and toxins, and the inflammation will reduce and the processes will come back online and into homeostasis. Okay, so, oh my gosh, how much do we love Apothecary? Put an 8 in the comments if you're loving this call and all of the shares so far. Camille, anything else before we shift gears that you would like to add that you didn't get a chance to say, or yeah, final words? Maybe Naiva, you want to pull the pledge up as well, and while I have Camille off mute, we can do both. So Camille, last words, and then if you'd read the pledge, that would be great.
Yeah, I would just say have fun with the Apothecary and add a couple of bottles to your order, like you said, because it's so easy to take it in on a regular basis. Like my favorite combination is the Can't Beat This and the Apothecary. My son's is the Aloe Digest. I mean, you've got yours with the ionic elements and the aloe concentrate. There's just so many fun ways to bring it in. And this can be an encouragement to your clients as well. If they're like, oh, it's, I don't really like taking it before bed, for one reason or another, just encourage them like, hey, why don't you try it with the cocoa hydrate? Or, and that can be a way to increase your client's success as well as increase your business as well. It's just such a neat, versatile product. And one thing I will say that comes to mind, we had the pleasure and joy of visiting with Dave out at his land in October, and he was talking about the farms where these cherries are grown, and they're grown in Italy in virgin soil. And it's just so wonderful to be part of something like this, to know that what we're doing with Purium is supporting these small, regenerative, organic farmers. Like that Dave and Amy are doing this, search for the most amazing soils, the most amazing lands. And yes, you can find other cherry out there. There is, they're grown in Michigan and whatnot, but you cannot find the potency that we have because of the soil quality in which these trees are grown, and just the utmost care that is put into the production of all of our superfoods. So it's something to be really proud of, to be able to have this in our toolkit and share it with others. So thank you guys so much for having me on.
It sure is. Thanks for bringing attention to the farming and our packaging too. We're just leading the industry. Yeah. Congratulations on being part of it, every single one of you. Go ahead, Camille. Will you read our pledge?
Okay, yes, I will read it. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing the movement of many. I am the Million Mom movement.
Thank you so much, Camille. And we are the Million Mom movement. And call to action. We'd love for you all to grab your phones right now. And I know Naeva is going to bring us a call to action. I want to put a little bee in your bonnet for later, that the statistic that we shared at the beginning of the call is a great call to action. Are you looking for solutions to the rise in melatonin overdose? I've got your back. Something, hit me up, DM me with a cherry, right? Or even just providing education and options and letting people know that you're there and being consistent. So I wanted to put that bee in your bonnet, and Naeva is going to take us through a walk through so many different ways that you can help us forward our mission. Naeva.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thanks you, Camille, for sharing all of your wisdom as well. So yeah, our call to action. We'd love to invite you, just like Michelle said, she gave you some great pointers on ways that you can start to move the needle forward with just bringing education to the table and sharing a little blurb on your Facebook to help create some curiosity around what it is that you're talking about and how you can provide support to these people. But we also want to help you, because we are the Million Mom movement and we need to reach more people faster. And so we'd love to invite you to go public and invite other people to join you on this journey. You are one of 10 families, and you are somebody's one out of their 10 people that they shared with, right? Through this Million Mom movement. So we are a part of 1,000 people from 100 different communities, each helping 10 people find this pathway to Purium superfoods. And it starts with you, right? And maybe that mission has grown to where you're beyond your 10 people, and that's even better. We're going to reach 1 million people faster the more people we help to align with this mission. But first, I want to share a quick video with you all that aligns us with our mission. It's one that's been around for quite a while now, but if you haven't seen it, I want to share it with you so that way it's a new tool that you can use if you haven't been using it already. And it's something that you can share with possibly 10 of these people that you're reaching out to and wanting to inspire into what we're doing here with our community. So hang tight. I'm just going to go ahead and set this up.
Remember in the 50s when the tobacco companies said, smoking is good for you? No problem. Trust us. Then in the 60s, they changed their tune and said, well, smoking might not be so good, but it's certainly not bad. Fast forward 50 years, and of course we know that smoking cigarettes is bad, deadly bad. And today, many experts fear the same thing may be happening with our food. Processed food can be loaded with so many chemicals, preservatives, genetically modified, and artificial ingredients that our body can't even recognize it as food. And these companies continue to introduce new synthetic ingredients, oftentimes untested ingredients, into our food supply that may or may not be safe for human consumption. We simply don't know. Many countries around the world have banned the sale of GMOs and chemical preservatives. But here in the US and Canada, we're exposed to genetically modified ingredients every day. And that's the problem. You don't have to smoke, but you do have to eat. And if you're like us, you're tired of being treated like a guinea pig on having big corporations push their agendas in front of your health. So what choice do you have? At Purium, we want you to know there is a choice, a safe place to get your food without any genetically modified ingredients and without a speck of man-made filler. All natural food, nourishing food, real food, superfood, grown by farmers on a farm, not engineered by chemists in a lab. And that's why we started our Million Mom movement. We're looking for 1,000 women in 100 communities who want to help 10 families each eat cleaner and greener. 1 million moms. We know that moms control the pantry, dinner table, and family nutrition. And we want 1 million moms to say, no more experimenting on my children. 1 million families eating clean and green superfoods made for nutrition, not profit. So whether you live in Manhattan, New York, or Manhattan, Kansas, Houston, Honolulu, Seattle, or Saskatoon, we want you to join us. And you don't have to be a mom or even a woman to join this movement. Change your diet and change your destiny. Help others do the same, and you become part of something much bigger. Be part of our Million Mom movement. It's time to let everyone know what you stand for. It's time to take back our food. Your communities, your family, and your kids are counting on you.
Who else got chills when they listened to that video? I had goosebumps throughout the whole second half. And I just love the information in there. It really talks about the problem versus the solution and inviting them to join the Million Mom movement. And so I'd love to invite you all to share that. And for some reason, I don't have access to the chat. So if one of my council members will grab that video and drop it in the chat, it's the highlighted one on our document. And so we would love to also invite you, let me go find my page here, to participate in sharing this, right? So think about the 10 people that you've been talking to that are in your funnel that you'd love to inspire, and share that video with them. It's a really great video to share far and wide, and to just invite others to learn more about what we're doing here at the Million Mom movement and how we're providing this incredible solution to so many others in our community. And so I also want to invite you all to open your phones, take your phone out if you're not currently watching us via your phone. And I want to take you over to the Million Mom Movement Instagram channel. So you can just go ahead, Instagram, you can, if you go there, you can go to the link in our bio and go to our Million Mom Movement YouTube channel, which is what I meant to say. And I'd love for us to go over to that YouTube channel, find a video that you love, a recent replay of something that you've watched, and share that video. And maybe you have one that you choose every week that you can share far and wide with your community. But we would love to invite you to not only subscribe to that channel, so that way you get that in your email every week when we upload our replays, but so you can start to share those far and wide into your community. So with that, I want to also I'm going to pass it back to you, Michelle, and I'm going to open up our closeout page with all of our links, so that way we can help everyone learn how they can follow us and become a part of our community.
If you guys ever need inspiration, that YouTube channel, I mean, we've interviewed authors, Glyphosate Unsafe on Any Plate, the Detox Project. There's some really high quality videos that have been put forth, families, kids, transformations, you name it. We're here every week, even though the council shifts and changes from time to time. We're here to empower you to leverage these tools. That's what we're making them for. So please, while you have your phone out, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and like our Facebook page at the Million Mom Movement. We also have a page, the Million Mom Movement Official. That's where we post the replays and any links to anything that we mentioned during the call today. People ask questions, and it's an engaging community where you have the support of all of us, the field and the council, for your questions. You can follow us on our Instagram page. We love when you tag us at the Million Mom Movement. We are hashtag We Are the Million Mom Movement, or I Am the Million Mom Movement, or Million Mom Movement, because we share those pieces on the Instagram page and in various places. You can follow us on Twitter at the Million Mom Movement and subscribe, of course, to that YouTube channel. So if you were there looking through videos, make sure that you're subscribed. We're really growing this community so we can cast a wider net. I am so thrilled to have had a chance to interview and learn more about my dear friend and colleague, and our dear friend and colleague, Camille Ferguson. Thank you so much to the council, to all the familiar faces that are here every week and help me with my posture and be able to speak to a community that I know is listening and is like-minded. So much love to you all. We have a couple more minutes and I'd be happy to take any questions before closing out.
No question.
Yeah. Jordan.
Okay, Jordan.
And then Carmela. Sure, go ahead. Let's get Jordan unmuted.
I would love y'all's feedback on how you respond to the objection that, it's going to make me sleepy. Like, I know that's not how it works. I know it's helping your body, but would just love to hear what you guys say.
If somebody is resistant to the cherry juice during the day because it makes them sleepy?
Just in general, I've gotten a lot of like, well, I don't want to take something that's going to make me drowsy. I don't think it's a very deep objection. So that might be a just totally different challenge in that moment. But I don't feel like I've been articulating how it like works in the body very well.
Yeah, I'll let my council members answer this also. For me, sometimes when I feel stuck like that, Jordan, I just ask a question. Do you eat tart cherries? Do you like cherries in general? Do you eat that? You know, I just go back with a question instead of trying to present. And then also I've been putting in the comments, add this to your boards, add this to your boards. I love having tools to do the talking for me. Ladies, Camille, Naeva, Carmela, do you have any insights that you'd like to share with Jordan?
What you shared, Michelle, is the transformational versus transactional way to ask the question first. If somebody has a concern, that's the first step to any transformation. Let that be in the hands of them coming up with what is their true question and what do they want? What are they seeking? And what I was going to add, it wasn't a question, but the endocrine system, in the endocrine system, the pineal gland is what produces the melatonin. And so what we're doing is we're activating our body to make its own production of this melatonin by activating the pineal gland. If you know how bombarded the pineal gland is with the fluoride in the water, the fluoride in toothpaste, it's no mistake that it's the dumbing down, this sleepwalking society that is being created here. So we're trying to help people activate their own body's production of the naturally occurring melatonin that happens with the pineal gland. And Rene Descartes said it was the seat of the soul. It's also our psychic abilities, our ability to have intuition. We want to activate. What does that mean to somebody, you know?
Beautiful, Naeva. Carmela, thank you.
Yeah, I can share a little bit as well. And then I don't know if Camille also wants to share, but you know, something that's great about these tart cherries is that they don't actually make you drowsy. Like Carmela was just sharing, they activate the natural melatonin in your body. And so it's not something that's actually going to make you drowsy. I mean, she just took it and it's like noon where she's at right now. It's not even evening time. You can take it throughout the day. I love giving it to my kids, like in the lemonade. I'll give that to them in the middle of the afternoon, and it's not going to make them take a nap, but it's going to help them with inflammatory response. It's going to help them with oxidative stress. And then when they do go to bed, it's going to help them naturally create that melatonin. So it's not something that's going to make you drowsy or knock you out. And I've had some clients say that even the light amount of natural sugar in the apothecary makes it to where they don't want to take it right before bed. And it's actually something that they prefer to take in the afternoon because of the natural sugar content that's in there. And they feel like that prohibits them from falling asleep. And so everybody is different. We're all on a different journey with our health, but that's also something else to take into consideration, that you can take it in the middle of the day, you can take it in the morning, and it's not going to actually activate the melatonin until you're laying down and ready to go to sleep. So I don't know if there's anything else to share on that, but thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And Camille, if you want to add, I would definitely say, I wanted to mention also our Bio Relax is a dehydrated tart cherry, along with some other great tonics for the nervous system and the brain. And we're really talking about a nerve tonic versus making you sleepy. It's not something you'd wake up in the morning with a hangover from, still feeling drowsy because of its regenerative properties. Camille, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of piggybacking off of what you all said about how it activates your body's own melatonin production. And that's so important too, because really, if we are wanting to heal and repair our body, we need 3 cycles of sleep at night. And so when we take the tart cherry juice, it helps us fall into that kind of drowsy mode when we really ought to be going to bed. Like we should be going to bed between 9 and 10 at night. So we get those full 3 cycles. So it just helps, it helps the body repair and restore. And it helps support the adrenal glands. Like it helps all systems of the body. And so maybe just sharing some education about why healthy sleep is so important to, repairing the body and rejuvenation, and that it's, it works in conjunction with with the sunlight and the pineal gland. Absolutely.
Perfect.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Jordan, hopefully that's helpful for you when the body is in homeostasis and it's making these things on its own. That's why people can take tart cherry during the day and have a healthy melatonin production in the evening when it's time for that. So it just enhances your own body's production of natural sleep hormones. Thanks for the question. Great one. And I know we're going over, so if you have to hop off, you can. If you can, please stay for Patty's question and we'll answer one more. Patty, did you still have a question? Whoops, where'd you go? I lost her. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us. We're so happy that you came. And next week, Naeva, would you care to tell us what's on deck?
Absolutely.
Close us out.
Yeah, thank you for that great question. Thank you all for joining us today. So next week for Fierce Friday, we have Elevate Your Nutrition, the ultimate protein source. We're going to be talking all about aminos, Super Amino 23, one of our favorite products, an amazing standalone product, as we all know. This is an incredible protein source, and we're going to be diving in deep to that subject. So please join us for that, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Okay, thanks. If you want to stick around, we're going to stop recording.